Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is Navigational Astrology, where we are navigating the leading edge of consciousness. Let's talk about the Aquarius new moon. Warm welcome to my subscriber family. I love you guys. You give me life. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so happy to have you. Consider joining us by hitting that subscriber button, that flower of life down in the corner. On this channel, I talk about astrology, mysticism, folk magic, navigating the leading edge of consciousness and conscious relationships, and working with the natural cycles of life and of the earth. So this Aquarius new moon is happening on February 1st in the wee early morning hours. In some places it will be happening January 31st. So depending on where you are, it could be the second new moon in a month or the first if it's happening in February. So welcome to the new moon Aquarius in the lunation of love. In navigational astrology, the Leo Aquarius axis of the zodiac encompasses the energies of love and all the nuances and extremes that fall under that umbrella. With this cycle beginning in Aquarius, we will be planting new seeds of universal love and concerns that affect humanity as a collective, our communities, our friends, our hopes and dreams for the future, and many other things that we'll get into in a moment. But this is more of a philosophical expression of love, that Aquarian type of love. And it values innovation, quirkiness, open-mindedness, freedom, and especially values not going with the crowd or following tradition. This is not about doing what everybody else is doing. This is not about needing other people's approval either. So this new moon is aspecting both of the ruling planets of Aquarius, Saturn and Uranus. And it also has loads of energy that is asking us to turn our love and attention toward our local communities, as well as our homes, our families, our inner child, and our deepest psychological mechanics and workings and all of that deep gooey stuff. Now, this combination on the surface seems pretty conflicting because Aquarius generally isn't about all that deep stuff, but this new moon is. There's a smushing of energies, a blend that is very specific. And it's actually really beautiful to my eye, and here's why. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but here's one reason. We often think of love as an emotion, yet in real life practice, it's much more of a choice that directs our actions. And when the emotion of love wanes, we can breathe life into it by choice, regardless of emotion. And this is some of that like real life love wisdom that most of us only gain later in life, if ever, through many trials and errors. So this new moon is conjunct Saturn, which adds a touch of seriousness and a request to make sober, responsible decisions. We also have a square with Uranus, which is asking for those responsible decisions to be different than what might be the usual thing we would think of when we think of what responsibility is and what sober decision making is, what that looks like. It's not going to look like what we think it would. It's time to redefine what responsible means. Now, this Saturn-Uranus square has been a major player on the world stage with all of the drama that we've all been experiencing through all of 2021. It's now making its final exit as we are working with it in this new moon cycle. That kind of tug of war, not kind of, that serious, unmistakable, undeniable, in your face tug of war between restriction and freedom that we've all been experiencing through this pandemic is literally what this Saturn-Uranus square is. I mean, that's literally it. So this new moon is asking us to come back into that space where that tug of war is and to do it all different. But it's about doing it differently, like in our own lane, if you know what I mean. Because the connection that this new moon has with the local community, home and family, is the specific request to be more independent, plain and simple. Not independent as an individual, although there is that, but more about how can your home, family, and community be more independent. Which is pretty fascinating that this astrology is reading like this as world events unfold around us, and the supply chain is what it is at the moment. The sky is literally guiding us to focus more on our immediate surroundings and to innovate, to be creative, to do things differently in any way that we can that can foster less dependence on world systems. Venus has completed her retrograde cycle, and she will be dancing with her divine partner Mars all month. And even though she's still in her shadow period until March, this interaction between Venus and Mars is really going to breathe some life into our closest relationships, particularly our partnerships, our spouses, our closest partners. Mercury is in his last days of this retrograde cycle, and he is conjunct the great revealer Pluto. So again, all of this hints at some potential for weirdness out there and a revival of new life in here, in our closest spaces, in our closest relationships. And this whole thing is designed to have us like thinking more locally and domestically and less worried about what's all going on out there. Although we can't really escape that, but where can we make a change? It's not really out there. It's here. So let's talk a little bit about some fixed star astrology involved here. So this new moon in Aquarius is in a very tight conjunction, less than a degree. I think it's like 18 minutes or something like that. It's conjunct fixed star Albali. And now this fixed star lies in the left hand of the constellation of Aquarius. And it falls into the Arabic lunar mansion called Al-Sad al-Bula. Now, this Arabic lunar mansion has been said to carry the energies of freeing captives and healing the sick. That sounds pretty nice right now, doesn't it? Aquarius has also been associated or sort of conflated, thought to be the pourer of the waters of the Great Flood. Now, the Great Flood is not only biblical, it has been recorded or mentioned. There are myths about it in numerous ancient texts, including the Epic of Gilgamesh, and that's only just one. So even the Greeks had a flood story. In the Greek version of the flood story, a character by the name of Deucalion was warned by his father. His father was Prometheus, who is still imprisoned, according to legend, to this day for giving the gift of fire to humanity. So Prometheus told his son to build a wooden chest. And when the rains came and the great floodwaters came upon them, Deucalion and his wife floated in the wooden chest for 9 days and 9 nights until they landed on Mount Parnassus, which was apparently the only dry land around. Now, while they were there, they were instructed by an oracle to repopulate the earth. And they were told to throw bones over their shoulder in order to repopulate the earth. And they interpreted this as to throw the bones of the earth over their shoulder. So they threw stones. They thought stones must be the bones of the earth. They threw stones over their shoulders, and the stones turned into people, and they created the next great race, or I don't know about the next great race, but the next race of people, and repopulated the earth. So in this, we have these themes of chaotic upheaval, destruction, as well as healing, regeneration, new cycles beginning. And these themes are all associated with Aquarius. So in thinking of this myth, this story of the wooden chest, what he did, what Deucalion and his wife did, is exactly what this new moon is asking us all to do. They did something weird. I mean, when Noah was building the ark, everyone thought he was weird, I'm sure. When Deucalion was making his wooden chest, I'm sure people thought it was weird. Why would he do that? That's so random. But it literally kept them afloat, like literally kept them afloat while the rest of the world was drowning. So in this metaphor, anything that you can do to break out of the dependence on what is going on out there will serve you and your family and your community so very well. Emphasizing the request to turn our energy toward our homes and communities. This new moon is landing right on the Pagan Sabbath of Imbolc, which highlights one of our Hearth goddesses, Brigid. And in honor of this blessed time that turns our attention to the first stirrings of new life, kind of helps us get over the depressive hump of late January and February, where so many of us tend to just kind of struggle with the blahs or with actual depression. I did make a video about the Asteroid Hearth goddesses. Check that out. It's really perfect for this period of time, as well as for this new moon. If you would like to find out how these lunations are affecting you personally, please visit my website and purchase a reading, and we can work together, as well as working with these asteroid hearth goddesses. For a lot of us, they are really present to have close relationships, and they're very, very willing to communicate and be present with us. And that's always an uplifting thing to feel that and experience that. So thank you so much. Happy new moon. I hope it's wonderful for you and yours. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and for being on this journey with me, for shining your light in this world. We need you. I'll see you very soon.